2020 was an extraordinary year for some in many ways. Each of our 10 lines of service were taxed more because of the increased demand brought on by the COVID-19 virus. Because every single one of our service lines had to do more, it had to do it differently, and it had to do it better than it ever did before in order to serve the additional need brought about by the pandemic.
So now we do to-go meals in the parking lot every morning, and we do about 200 to 250 meals a day, a breakfast and a lunch. So that's about 400 meals to 500 meals in total. Because of COVID, we can no longer serve meals in our dining room every day because of the groups.
Two of the biggest impacts of the pandemic were access to care. So folks being able to actually come in to see a provider became really challenging. And so how do we provide, as across the nation, folks were moving towards telehealth services, right? And they were moving towards doing things online and what have you. Well, as you can imagine, when we serve a primarily homeless population, the amount of barriers to telehealth services are immense. So that was kind of one of the big ones. The second one was that because a lot of other providers were shutting down, government offices were closed, things like case management and vital records, we were one of the only providers and are still one of the only providers left in the city that's providing that on-site service.
With the pandemic, we had to quickly shift to what we call distance learning or online platform for our students. Many of our participants did not have internet services, nor did they have a laptop or a device in which they could potentially do distance learning training.
One day at a time. Things happen, you have to deal with them accordingly. I have two small children, 12 and 6, so they are school age. And so they're virtually learning too. And for me to make that big decision to go with lack of support in reference to childcare because of the pandemic, one day at a time. I'm almost at the end too. So, hello.
What has changed since COVID was, I would think, the safety precaution. Not only we have to serve these trays out here, we have to make sure we're safe and the guests are safe. So a lot of things has changed. Far as a lot of guests, we don't have the transportation vans where they used to drop off the guests. So a lot of guests are coming here, are practically catching the metro or even walking. So I think that will be one of the biggest changes, transportation.
We're really glad that we can still be around to support our community and neighbors right now. We very much miss that support that volunteers and the community could come and show up and help us with. But we're excited for the opportunity to have them all back one day, continuing with our dining room service.
What are we going to do over the course of the next 5 years? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to house more people. We're going to feed more people. We're going to clothe more people. We're going to provide more health care for people. We're going to provide more counseling services for people. We're going to provide more addiction treatment services for people. We're going to educate more children. The bottom line is we're going to do more for our neighbors who are vulnerable and our communities that are underserved. That's what we're going to do over the course of the next 5 years. It's exciting. We have the talent. We're formulating the strategy, and we expect to continue to have access to the capital that we'll need to do it, in large measure because of the generosity of our donors and our social investors. People see what we're doing, they know what our mission is, and they believe in our ability to execute that mission at a really high level with a great deal of efficiency and conviction.